Okay, we are in the home stretch. So this last purple box here on your spreadsheet. So we are asked to calculate the margin of safety. That's what MOS stands for. Um, and then calculate the operating leverage factor. So let's talk about margin of safety first. Margin of safety is a really simple concept to get your head around. You basically, you know, if you're planning a certain level of sales, which we are, right? We are planning on selling 200 of our product one and and 100 of our product two. That means that we're expecting to sell $5,000 worth of product, and we know that our break-even point is $3,125. Then our margin of safety is simply the difference between our expected sales and our break-even sales, which was where? There it is. Come on, Excel, click for me. There we go. Right, so our margin of safety is $1,875, and then our percentage we just calculate as what that margin of safety is over our expected sales. So we can say that next month we expect that 38% of our sales are going to be just pure gravy, pure contribution. They're just going to go straight in and flow towards our bottom line. Now, operating leverage is a little bit of a harder concept to get your head around. And what I'm going to do, right, is show you how to calculate it first, and then sort of take you through a description of what it means, all right? Because for me, in my mind, my brain structure was designed by Bill Gates in the spreadsheets, I swear. And so for me, I have to look at how it flows in a spreadsheet in order to really be able to understand it. So I'm hoping that perhaps it will be helpful for you to see things in that way as well. So operating leverage is defined as your contribution margin at a given level of sales over the net operating income at that level of sales. So let's go pick those numbers up from our pro forma income statement up here. So here's our contribution margin of 2,400, and our net income at that level, or our profit at that level, of 9. So our contribution margin, our operating leverage factor is 2.67 at our expected level of sales for next month. And what this means is, right, we are told that we are expecting to grow our volume the following month by 5%. And we have a leverage factor of 2.67. And the way that this flows out, and again, I'm going to show you how it looks and then back into explaining what it is. Okay, if we multiply that 5%, our percent change in income, in sales, times our operating leverage, okay, it gives us a 13% expected change in income with an increase in sales of 5%. Okay, so that's how the math works. Now, what does this mean conceptually? Okay, in words, the degree of operating leverage is a measure at a given level of sales of how a percentage change in sales volume will affect profits. It's basically at a particular level of sales, and it's going to change at different levels of sales, but it tells you how much your profits are going to increase for a given percent increase in sales volume. And so that's what this number is. For every dollar increase in sales, our profits are going to increase by $2.67. And the reason this occurs is because of the cost structure of your company. The cost structure is the relative proportion of fixed versus variable costs in your cost structure. And so what I want to do, just want to give you a little simple illustration of how this flows through. So now we've got a proper spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do is sort of hide these two columns so that you can see almost like a dashboard, right? If we, let's say we increase our fixed costs here, right? Let's keep your eyes on this down here, right? So if we increase our fixed cost in our cost structure to $2,000, right? Our operating leverage goes up. Higher fixed costs mean higher operating leverage. And with a higher operating leverage, that means for this 5% expected increase in sales volume, it's going to increase our operating income by 30%. Now, 30% of a smaller dollar might be a smaller actual dollar value of income increase, right? But what we're interested in here is just what happens with our change in sales volume versus our change in profit. So again, I switched it back to 1500. Our margin of safety then goes back to 38%, which means we have a lot more sort of fluff in our budget, and our operating leverage, it goes lower. In general, leverage is higher, closest to the break even. And in general, leverage is higher if you've got fixed costs as a greater percentage of your cost structure. Right. So this is everything about how to do this starting file, right? And the rest of the assignment has you make copies of this, rename it, and save it as additional copies, and then do what's called sensitivity analysis, assuming various changes, which I will have you do on your own.